Good morning and welcome back to the show. We're already having fun and we haven't even started yet. Hi Karen, it's good to see you. I'm great. Ground beef, peanut butter and jelly.
Wraps.
We're going to have a good time with this. So let's get started.
Okay, well the beefy PB and J wrap. You know, we're starting school, back to school time. The other thing that's happening right now is people are getting geared up to tailgate.
Right.
And so I think this is a recipe that's got a little different twist, kind of an Asian twist, if you will. It's got some soy sauce and some green onion and some really good peanut butter in it. So we're gonna make this up. I think it's a recipe that people could take to a tailgate in a crock pot, already made up, make it really simple. So anyway, that's where we're headed.
All right, well, let's get started. We're going to brown some ground beef.
We are, and I have preheated my skillet, and I always like to put my hand above it. You can feel that heat, because then when I put this ground beef in, it's going to just really get a nice sizzle going.
We're using 95?
We are. This calls for a 95% lean ground beef, which we know is 95% lean, 5% fat, so that's a great healthy alternative there for a higher fat cut. And then it just takes about a third a cup of red pepper, and we're just going to stir that in and let those flavor each other up.
And we've got that finely diced.
Yes, I did. I did a real fine dice, because when it's going into a mixture that you're going to put in a wrap, maybe you don't want such a big chunk.
Right.
So, but yeah, I like to cook it good, and you know, even with ground beef crumbles, we need to test to 160 degrees.
Okay.
So that's just an important step. Safe and savory at 160, so that we can get that browned off.
And you know, the thing about it is when people think about maybe using 95%, some people go, gosh, I don't get the flavor, but truly you still get that good beef flavor. You just don't have to drain a bunch of grease off of it.
Exactly. The other thing I like to tell people, some people say, well, it seems like it's kind of, you know, it's a little drier when it makes it into a patty. And what I like to tell people is actually, if you will just add an egg white, about a quarter cup of water, and a quarter cup of breadcrumbs into your 95% lean, then you're going to find a big difference in the texture, and it's really nice when it comes out.
Right. Again, you don't have to worry about, you know, straining it and everything else, especially when you have something else in the pan, like, you know, the diced red peppers that we've got in there.
Exactly. So these are going to flavor each other. Then we're going to add the other ingredients to it, mix it up, and at that point you can leave it in a crock pot for a while, or you can put it right into a wrap, and you've got a great sandwich.
Okay, Karen, we've got our ground beef.
We do. And it's all browned off.
Yes.
And those red peppers are gotten nice and tender. Yep. All we're going to do now is add to that 2 tablespoons of grape jelly.
Love some grape jelly.
2 tablespoons and a half of peanut butter.
Nice.
That's just going to melt in there.
Right.
This is soy sauce, and I'm actually using the light soy sauce, so it's a little lower sodium. And then we're going to add in a half a cup of chopped green onion. All right, so we're just going to mix that all in. You can see where this kind of gets its Asian flavor.
Right.
Because that peanut butter and the soy sauce, and isn't that pretty too?
Oh, it is.
So it adds a lot of nice color.
I never knew grape jelly could smell so good.
Yeah. That kind of adds that little sweetness to it too.
It's really good.
So anyway, this is probably something that kids would really like. And with back to school, this is a fun Friday night before the ball game, or take it to the high school tailgates or whatever. So, but you can see that peanut butter is just melting down real nice in there.
Wonder what you have to do to come up with a recipe like this.
I don't know, but you know where you can find this? Beef, it's what'sfordinner.com.
Yep.
That's where this is at. Okay, then all I'm going to do is, you can see I've got whole grain tortillas. That's the dietitian in me. All right, we're just going to put that meat right on there. And you know, you could add lettuce or anything you want, but we're going to actually add just a little bit of chopped peanuts.
Nice. Right
onto the top. They roll that up, and you're good to go.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about other recipes that we can do with this.
Okay, terrific.
We'll see you guys in a minute. Thanks for staying with us. Karen, thank you, of course, for staying with us.
You bet.
I mean, this is a great way to really flavor up ground beef.
It is. I wish people could smell it, because it really, between that peanut butter and that grape jelly, I think it really adds some nice touches. And you know, this is kind of an Asian flavor. We've got soy sauce in it, the peanuts. It just gives it a really different. I think this recipe, you know, we're showing it today on the tortilla, but I think you could actually, this would be awesome over like a brown rice or white rice. Topped with those peanuts on the top, kind of like an Asian dish would be.
Noodles as well?
Noodles would be awesome too, absolutely, especially if they were the soba noodles. Yeah, so it's very versatile.
And again, we use 95, and let's take for, because we don't do this very often because we're kind of rushing through stuff.
Right,
I mean, we do a lot of cooking behind the scenes to give you guys everything in the amount, allotted time that we have. But let's talk about ground beef. You know, it's something that is very versatile.
Right.
Packed full of protein.
Exactly.
You can add a lot of different things to come up with different flavors.
Right, right. It's so versatile because, like you just said, you can put all kinds of flavors with it. But nutritionally, I like it because it's something that all ages tend to eat, even the very young children who need that good protein in their diet, the iron, the zinc, the selenium, all the good stuff. It's really a power-packed cut. And so, as is all beef, but it's a great way to get that nutrition into our younger children, or, you know, people as they age don't maybe like the chewing aspect of the beef. So this is a great way to get that as well.
And how do we tempt crumbles? And that's something we didn't do over there earlier.
Yes, that's true. But, you know, on our instant read thermometer, you've got to get at least in there a good 1.5 inches or so. So I like to either just heap it and then stick it right in there so that you get a nice dense reading, or you could certainly put it into a little dish and test it too.
Okay,
but yeah, you've got to make sure that that's getting, that tip of that thermometer is getting in there good. And that's a great way. And it needs to be 160 degrees for ground beef. So we need to always make sure we get it to 160.